What's going on, party people? This your man Griff. Woo-wee. I am done for today. Shoot, I had what? 4 signings and 3 house inspections. Man, I was going today. Yeah, I was rolling. Yeah, I've been going. So been doing a couple of HELOCs. The HELOCs have been popping left and right. So I've been snagging those up. Matter of fact, got one on my way here. Back to the house. Another HELOC popped up, so I grabbed that one for Friday. So hopefully the people, well, I know they'll call. I already called it, to confirm, but they wasn't available. Um, man, man, oh man, today was rough, y'all. Today was rough. Oh man, I had some. I never heard this before in my life as a notary. Um, a signing company. I do a closing for them. Everything was done right. At least that's in my opinion it was. And then I get a text message with a picture of the U.S. Patriot Act on it. And I'm like, okay, why are they sending me a picture of the U.S. Patriot Act that I filled out? And on there they had the word public behind the word notary, saying that it's an error because I didn't put notary public. I just wrote notary. And I'm sitting here like, are you kidding me? I've been doing closings for 5 years for that company and many others, as you know. And no one has ever told me, oh, you got to put notary public on the Patriot Act where it says title. And I'm sitting here like, okay, I'm a notary. That's who I am. What's the problem? You know, and I'm sitting here like, okay, I can't believe this. And I talked to them and they said, well, the title company might reject it. I said, wait a minute. You mean to tell me the title company is going to say this wasn't filled out properly because it doesn't say notary public on there? I was like, that don't make sense. I said, is this what they said? Well, they didn't say that they might. So there's no proof that you can give to me that says they will. It's a they might. I was like, that don't make a bit of sense to me. You know, y'all told me they might reject it because I didn't put my title on in the notarial statement where it says title, even though my title is in my stamp. So I do that for y'all. Now you're saying, well, you didn't put notary public on a Patriot Act. And I'm concerned about that. And I know people like, man, you're splitting hairs here. Well, I'm tripping because I didn't put notary public as the title. I just put notary. And nobody had a problem with that. Now on the Patriot Act, and I'm talking about I put notary on a document, on a page, on a title area that I'm signing and stamping, and y'all was okay with it. Y'all was cool with that. Now on the Patriot Act, it's, oh, that's a critical error. That's a major error that you have there. And I'm like, how the heck is that an error when you have no when you have proof that I you've seen other documents that I've done for y'all that says notary. What changed? And that's all I wanted to know. I said I wanted to know what changed. What happened to say that writing notary is wrong? I said because if writing notary is wrong, shouldn't loan signing agent be wrong? Shouldn't notary signing agent be wrong? Because those aren't terms that we were commissioned under. We weren't commissioned as a loan signing agent or a notary signing agent. They ain't have nothing to say. And I told them, I said, okay, fine, I'll do it. So I just wrote it on there. But this is the part that's just frustrating And I'm sharing this so that y'all can be aware that, okay, these things can happen. You're sitting here doing everything you can and putting forth every effort to get stuff done right. And I told him, I said, I know I've made mistakes, but I end up making a lot of mistakes with y'all documents because I'm so focused on, hyper focused on trying not to make a mistake. And now it's to the point where, okay, I'm not making any mistakes, but now y'all saying this is a mistake, and I'm sitting here like, why? Where is this coming from? You know, why would they reject it? Why would the title company reject the U.S. Patriot Act because it didn't say notary public? Now, have I forgotten to write my title on there of notary? Yes. And I was told, hey, you need to write that. Or somebody called me and said, do we have your permission to put notary? Yeah, go ahead. My bad, I forgot. But to say it will get rejected, that one sheet of paper will get rejected. And I'm not saying that it won't. I just never have heard of that, because out of 2,700 closings that I've done, that's the first time I've ever had somebody tell me, we're going to reject you filling out the U.S. Patriot Act because you didn't put notary public on it. You just put notary. And I know people have been told to just put LSA or NSA. And I'm like, okay, what are you doing with them? Are you not, are they rejecting those? They didn't have anything to say. So I guess my thing is, the target, the standard keeps changing. That's the part that's frustrating, not just me, but other notaries, because there's the other notaries out there that, if they was to be honest, they would tell you that, yeah, it frustrates them because the standard keeps changing. And sometimes it's not even changing from company to company. Sometimes it's changing within a company. And it's like, okay, it depends on who you get today, you know. And there's notaries that have told me that they're like, you know what, I ain't got time for this. I'm out. I'm out the business. Forget this, because it's a great business, but people keep changing the standard and keep saying it's, you got to do it this way and then do it. And some people feel they're being lied to and not told honestly why they want it to be done this way, you know. And a lot of times it's personal preference. It's just, well, I personally, you know, I would like, you know, somebody prefers it that way. And I'm like, okay, cool. Then say that, but don't tell me or potentially be lying to me saying it's going to get rejected. And it's easy to say that because being rejected is it instills concern and fear. So when somebody tells you what you did is going to be rejected, that hits at the heart. It really, really does. It really hits at the heart, like, my work is being rejected. And that's the part that I take offense to, is when somebody telling me my stuff is going to be rejected. And I'm like, I've been doing it this way for y'all, because now my thing is, do I need to go back and correct that on all the other 80 plus, 100 some plus closings that I've done for y'all? Nobody's saying that. Apparently it hasn't been rejected. My question is, but why would they reject it? And are they saying they're going to reject it? And the answer has always come back as, no, they're not saying they're going to reject it, but they could. Well, can we talk to them and find out whether or not they will reject it? And the answer is always, nah, we're not going to ask them. So you don't want to find out whether they would reject it. You want to assume they're going to reject it. And then you're going to tell me that I made a critical error, which then you want to maybe pay from me. That's the part that is troubling. It's troubling. And it's stressing notaries out. It stresses me out from time to time. And I know it stresses new notaries out, because I hear from them and I'm like, okay. And it's just, wow. You know, and see, another story I got to tell y'all. This is why it's so important for us to know how to do things right. I got an order. It was easy order, barely 20. I mean, I don't even know if it was barely 30 pages. I go in there to go do it. So I call the guy and I'm like, hey, this Griff, the notary, is supposed to meet with you on such and such date for your loan closing. It says you have a floor at the property and all that, and you're selling it, so therefore you're going to need to have 2 witnesses. In this case, because in Virginia I'm allowed to be one, as long as my name's not in the notarial statement, so I can be a witness, and they want you to have another one. They want you to provide another witness. And the guy sort of went off, not hard, but he was going off like, I've sold 4 houses in Florida and I've never had to have a witness. Why do I need a witness? I said, because when properties in Florida, when you sell them, they have warranty deeds or special warranty deeds, things of that nature, some kind of deed, and they need to have them witness. He said, no, it's a mortgage. I said, it's a mortgage when you first buy the property, but when you sell, it's under the deed, under a deed. You don't know what you're talking about there. That's what he told me. I've sold 4, and it's always just been me and somebody from the title office. I've gone down to the title company, and that's what we did. So you don't know what you're talking about. And so he said something to that effect. Maybe not direct like that, but something to that effect. So I was like, okay, no problem. Contacted the signing company, title company, told them what the deal was. They was like, okay. And they had a conversation with him. He got a witness. We show up. I show up. And come to find out from him, he said, I've just found out that the whole time I've been selling properties in Florida, it was under a deed. And he said, I was concerned. He said, but they only had one person in the room with me. And I said, what's the deal here? And he said, they told him, well, yeah, you'll be in there with the notary or the escrow officer or somebody. And then after they finish with you, they go out to the other office over here and have somebody sign it as a witness. He said, how can you do that when they didn't witness me signing? That's what he asked. And I was like, and I told him, I said, I figured that's what was going on when you told me you was doing it in the title office. I said, but I'm not allowed to say anything because that's their law. That's not Virginia law. So I don't know if there's something going on. So I'm not at liberty in any way, shape, or form to say anything. I said, but I had a feeling that was what was going on. That they was doing a closing with you. One person was meeting with you, and then they took the documents to another person and told them to sign it, and that person was taking their word. I said, maybe they can do that with title, but not with notaries. I said, we're not allowed to do that. And see, this is why it's important, people, to understand and know your notary laws. From the first story that I told, where somebody's telling me, hey, you did something wrong, it's like, okay, why would that get rejected? What makes that rejectable? If it is, then I need to know so that way I can make the necessary adjustment. But if it's a thing of aesthetics where it's just something you would like to see done, then say that. And I told him, I said, I'm not saying that I won't make this change. I just need to know why, because as a business owner, I'm obligated to understand why I'm being asked to do stuff. I'm obligated to understand these things. I should know these things. I should clearly understand them, because if they don't make sense, then I need to know why. And the gentleman, he was not happy with being told that, oh yeah, we're having somebody sign as a witness over here in the other room, even though they didn't actually witness you signing it. And not all title companies do that, but this is one of the things you have to be concerned about as a notary when you are working in a title office, when you're working direct with people. Will they ask you to do something that is outside the scope of your state laws? And I have to reflect back and refer back to the NNA signing agent training course, because that's one of the main things they say in that course, is that you follow the instructions as long as it doesn't violate your state law. But you can't push back or even know whether you should follow something if you don't understand your state law. It's imperative, it's important Because when we as notaries follow state law, when we as notaries do the things that we're supposed to do state law wise, guess what? That can help keep everybody out of the court. But if you don't know your state laws, if you do something as a notary that's questionable, guess what? Now they're going to be looking at everybody. Just like if the lender does something questionable, they're going to be looking at everybody. So it's imperative that we do it right. Even though it may cause us to get blacklisted, it may cause us to not be looked upon favorably, even though they may not blacklist us, but they might give us the trash orders, all of that. Because I know when I do it right, it's helping the person not get in trouble. It's helping that signing company, that title company, that lender. When I correct the stuff that I make done wrong, it helps everybody out. But if I did it correctly, and you're telling me that I did something wrong, not because legally I did anything wrong, but because aesthetically, that ain't the way you would do it, to me, that's not right. That's not grounds for coming down on a person and making them feel bad or trying to make them feel bad by saying, well, it's going to get rejected. And when you tell a notary that, that is the worst thing you can ever tell a notary. What you did will be rejected. And I was nice, and I was, at least I was nice, as nice. I wasn't cussing at people, yelling, screaming, fussing, but I was just strongly making my point. And this is the problem that you have, is that the individuals who I was talking to probably don't even understand basic notary law. They don't understand that. I don't know if they were here in our country. I don't know if they were virtual assistants somewhere else. But nonetheless, if they don't understand notary law, you're sort of talking to the wall, because they're like, okay, I just know they was given orders to do such and such, and they don't know whether or not it violates your state law. You see that it violates your state law. They don't care, in my opinion, whether it does, because they was told that you need to execute things a certain way. And this is why it's important that people who are at the signing companies, in my opinion, need to have some base knowledge or understanding of state law, and recognize that if you're telling somebody to do something, don't tell them to do it because they're breaking their state law, or make it seem like they are when they're not. Be honest with them and say, hey, this is just the way we want it. And then when you're working with direct clients, you have to be mindful. I mean, just like y'all heard me talk about the story with the Chinese couple, they spoke some English, but not very well. And the realtor was trying to be the interpreter, and I was like, no, you can't. I got to have somebody independent that's not benefiting from this here transaction. And he got mad. And I have to give credit, because the title company for the home builder, as well as the realtors and everybody there, they was like, if the notary says it got to be done this way, it has to be done that way. They supported that. So there are times where nobody will try to force me to do something incorrect. Even today, after that incident with the putting Notary Public on the Patriot Act, I had a signing, and I'm just talking, people. I'm just talking. I'm just sort of venting. I had a signing where the person, their ID expired, and we had to work some stuff out and get it straight to where we was able to verify the ID. I called the signing company. I told them, I said, this is what we're looking at doing, ... They're going to apply for it, this, that, and the other. They got the official notice. They provided other stuff to give me full confidence that they are who they say they are. They didn't even realize their ID was expired. And I was able to get done with the signing. Sent back the other supporting documentation, and everything was good, and I had valid proof that this person was who they say they were. I could have just walked out and be like, no, I'm sorry, they ain't got no ID, bye. But that's not me. I'm the guy that's going to sit there and do everything I can to see this thing through. And the signing company was happy. They was like, thank you very much. And even the lady and this was at a Berkshire Hathaway office. So this is Berkshire Hathaway, one of the big time real estate people. And the lady said, thank you for being patient and hanging around. Because they know other notaries would have just walked out. Oh, you ain't got no ID, bye. And just would have been like, okay, I get a trip fee. But I knew this man wanted to make this thing happen. I knew they wanted to make this thing happen. And I had to say, okay, how can we make this thing happen legally? And the cool part is that nobody tried to force me to do it their way. They was like, if the notary is cool with this here and is confident that the ID is properly verified, then we'll work with it. And we made it, they made it happen, and we was good. So that made me feel much better because I was really stressed after that first incident about putting Notary Public on the title line of the Patriot Act when I if I had maybe in the beginning, but I just put notary over at least over the last 4 years and 50 months. It's okay. I mean, and I've been doing this over 5 years, so maybe over 5 years and 36 months or whatever. So to go there to another signing and I really felt appreciated, you know, felt like, okay, you did good, Griff. I'll be honest, I mean, that made me feel good and that calmed me down because I was like, I can't believe they said that I made a critical error because I didn't put public behind notary on the Patriot Act. But then I go into this next signing and they have a situation and I was able to save the day, and get in there and find a way to make this happen. And I'm doing it with a signing company that I had never worked with before. So I gave them the same effort that I would have gave the other company or any other company and everything, so that's a part of this business, y'all. It's ran by human beings who got their own agendas, their own ideas, their own whatever, and they're doing whatever they can to protect the revenue that they're making, and sometimes at the expense of you, just like some notaries are doing what they can to protect their revenue at the expense of them. A lot of people say they want this business to be better and the relationships between the notaries and the signing companies and the title and the lenders and everybody working together. I think when we learn to respect what each other is supposed to be doing, we understand it to some degree, have a base understanding of what role each person plays in this process, and then respect it and do what we can to support them in executing their role, things will be a lot better. And that's what me and my wife was talking about, last night, on the 24th of October here, about our relationship. We understand our role, and then we work hard to support each other in that role, and not tear each other down, and not look for reasons to say you're a bad husband, you're a bad wife. If we can do that within this notary business, okay, got it. You notary putting forth every effort. Okay, well, what we want you to do, really, we understand that it's not legal. Well, not that that's, I'm sorry, not that it's illegal. That it's not illegal, but it's just something we would like you to do. And then if the notary is like, okay, well, I don't feel that I should have to do that because that's not a part of my state requirement, then to me, the signing company or whoever should be willing to accept that, okay, this is a personal thing that we want. It's not necessary, and it really legally does not stop the loan from getting processed. It's more of an aesthetic thing. Then we should just go with it. Then we shouldn't be flipping out over, did you put public behind notary? Because on the CD, it just says notary a lot of times. Yes, they may say notary public, but it never says LSA or NSA. It never says loan signing agent, notary signing agent. It may say mobile notary fee. It may say fee to signing company or whatever. So we just have to make sure that we're not, again, as I've said before, putting people in a position to be stressed for no reason at all over personal preference rather than what is really policy and law for that notary. That's really where I think it lies at. And if we can focus on that, things could be a lot smoother. And then that way, those notaries who don't want to do right and act right and understand what they're supposed to do right will get pushed out this business, because they're going to be expected to perform in accordance with their state laws. So we have an opportunity to make this thing better, y'all. We really, really do. I don't know when it's going to happen, but at some point in time, somebody's going to have to just take the step. And I'm asking notaries, learn your state laws, do what's right, show up on time, drop documents off on time. Make sure you understand what you're supposed to do. Stamp. If you miss a stamp, get it corrected. If you do something incorrectly, get it corrected. Don't just walk out to sign it just because somebody don't have the ID. Understand what your state law says that can be done in order to make sure that you verify the ID. Help the people get the closing done without breaking your state law. And then to me, the signing company and all the other entities support the notary in doing that. Don't threaten the notary by telling them their stuff is rejected or will be rejected when you have no legitimate proof that it will be. Stop trying to scare notaries into submission. You know what I'm saying? Just like notaries stop trying to scare signing companies and title companies into submission with, I ain't gonna scan back unless you pay me. We need to stop that. We need to respect what we do as well as respect what others do. And when we can do that, things will be much better for us. But as much as all of this get together and kumbaya and slapping hands and taking pictures is, there's a lot of disrespect in this industry, and it needs to get cleaned up. It really, really does. And I don't know what's going to have to happen to do that, but it really, really needs to get done. And it's not going to make me quit this business. I just make the necessary adjustments, but I will voice my opinion and share my feelings about something that somebody is telling me to do that I don't feel they have a real legal grounds to. Just as I would expect them to express themselves to me if I'm saying something to them that there's no legal grounds for doing so. Learn your job, respect what you do, which should garner you respecting what others do. You don't have to learn everything that they do, but at least learn a little bit, have a clear understanding what their role is, and respect that role, and do what you can in yours to support them in theirs. Things will be so much better. I'm telling y'all, things will be so much better. That's how you have champions. That's how you have, success. That's where it comes in at. So I'm gonna go in here, fix me something to eat, and go hug and kiss my wife and everything, because I only seen her a little bit today and all of that. So again, y'all have a good one. Thanks for listening. Feel free to give me your comments down and give me your thoughts on this. Hit the like button. And again, this ain't about calling out people, bashing them and stuff. It's about, let's find a way to make things better for all of us so that we can get along with each other. Okay? All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace.